Job is one of the oldest books in the Bible, written about the time of Abraham, over 2,000 years before the birth of Christ. And yet Job has this keen insight into the workings of the major organs of the human body. Job is beset by a lot of misery, including the death of his 10 children. He loses everything. All of his livestock, all of his valuables, all in a single day. Now, to add to this misery, he becomes enveloped in a plague of boils. So a group of Job's friends come to console him, but instead they cast accusations about his relationship with God. In his rebuke of these guys, Job makes some interesting comments. First, he tells them to consult nature, as they will see that God is in control. In whose hand is the life of every living thing, and the breath of all mankind? Job tells them that the soul of every living thing and the breath of all mankind are in the hand of God. Daniel says a similar thing when he is rebuking the king for taking sacred items from the Jewish temple and using them to drink and be merry. Daniel said to the king, "The God in whose hand your very breath is, you have not glorified." Another interesting scripture is found in Leviticus 17, verse 11, where we are told, "For the life of the flesh is in the blood." In our body we have voluntary and involuntary muscles. The voluntary muscles are attached to the skeleton. They are controlled by the brain. Now, when my son goes into the gym to keep his muscles so highly developed, he is working the voluntary muscles, the ones that are attached to the skeleton and controlled by his brain. Involuntary muscles are very different. They're not attached to the skeleton, and they are not controlled by the brain. Your heart is an involuntary muscle. Your lungs are involuntary muscles. You don't have to think to breathe. You don't have to think to ensure that your heart pumps blood through your body. The lungs provide oxygen to the brain, with which we are able to think. The heart pumps the blood within our bodies, within which is contained the life of the flesh. All this is controlled by involuntary muscles. These are the muscles over which you and I have no control. They are in the total control of God. Those muscles on which your life depends, God does not put in your control. God maintains control of every heart and every lung. He alone has the power to allow or remove breath. This is great wisdom. I would think that we would all desire to learn the ways of God, so that we can do those things that are pleasing in His eyes and discontinue the action to remove Him and any reference or mention of Him from every aspect of our lives. 2 Peter verses 10 through 11 say, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens will pass away with a great noise, and the elements will melt with fervent heat. Both the earth and the works that are in it will be burned up. Therefore, since all these things will be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in holy conduct and godliness? It does not seem to me to be a terribly wise thing to use the breath given by God to speak in opposition to the things of God." These are just my thoughts. Don D. Stevens. God bless you.